The Go Bowling at the Glen is ready to roar into life. It's time to bring the action at one of the best road courses in the world. Ross Chastain, who missed out on making the playoffs, but he might be able to help himself and his teammate. We're racing on a road course in the NASCAR Cup Series playoffs. Let's go here at the Glen. Good start from Chastain, but Shane Van Gisbergen right behind him. Truex coming on the outside with Bowman as well. Great start, Chastain.
Ross Chastain away with the lead, but he can't get too far away. Here's Truex. Truex in the 19 is going to look to his inside in 2. Can't get the job done. 3, now 4-car breakaway up front. They're side by side for 5th. That is Austin Cindric in that orange 2-car. Right now racing side by side as they lead turn 4.
Daniel Suarez right there as well at the back of that duo. Now Austin Cindric peeks out of line on Cindric. This is a race for position just inside the top 5 as they work into the bus stop for the first time. Cindric, the outside lane, that's not preferred through that portion of the bus stop, but is preferred here. Give that spot to Cindric. Now they wreck. Christopher Bell out of the bus stop. Several other cars involved. Looks like Kyle Busch is in there, as well as a few others. Everybody should be able to drive away, but the Busch car is going backwards, headed down the bus stop.
And Denny Hamlin involved in that as well. Jeff, he's coming your way.
Yeah,
and
Denny
the car
Hamlin
doesn't look good.
Yeah, Denny Hamlin's coming my way. Kyle Busch, you can see the damage on his car, left rear quarter panel. A lot of smoke on the cars on this back straightaway. Denny Hamlin's car is damaged. Don't know if it's just a flat tire or if it's suspension damage. Caution flies over here.
Back here a little bit further, you see a little tire lockup, a little bit of smoke, and then right there, kind of all on his own, the 8 gets spun around, and they pile in. Such a fast area of the racetrack. I thought that the 12 got through clean right there. A little bit of contact. It was interesting because he's down here at the bottom of the screen. I'm not sure what happened. Let's take another look at it.
Corey LaJoie in the 7. Watch on the outside too. Kyle Larson got extremely lucky. That's the moment where Busch gets turned. Christopher Bell, look at him go sideways and around.
Oh, right there. Right at the last minute.
Logano has a look on the inside of Allmendinger. Once again, Chastain gets a terrific start.
Here they come now out of turn number 1. Chastain in that blue
Whoa! Did you see that, Bagman?
That's crazy. The field knotted up, mid-pack on back. Everybody just trying to root gouging at everything they can get. They sort it out, and that's allowed a few drivers to scamper away with positions that they didn't have before.
And this is A.J. Allmendinger, that car that was out of shape and going backwards down the back straightaway.
Let's listen. I mean, it's chaos inside the car, but where the 12 hit him, I can't believe that would break it, but definitely something to miss on the 13. A little cleanup from the original accident as well. Everybody that remained on the racetrack.
Still continuing on board with SVG. This again, the battle for second. That car in front of him is Martin Truex Jr. They are 1.2 seconds behind Ross Chastain. Up through the S's they go. Shane now working towards the right-hander turn 4. He'll pop the steering wheel to the right and now upshift for a run down the backstretch.
Yeah, he got a nice run out of the exit of the S's field to the right side for a change position potentially for that second spot. Not going to happen this time through the bus stop. Truex too strong at this portion of the racetrack, but SVG peppering that back bumper of Truex. Gets him a little bit sideways there through the carousel, but MTJ too strong. He holds off SVG out of turn 5.
Yeah, Truex did a nice job of having momentum off of that corner, but we now know the strengths of SVG in that 16 car. It's up the S's, so what he's got to do is leave turn 1 close to the 19. Oh, we're trying to make an aggressive move here. This is tight in the 7. A very difficult right-hander to make a pass.
If you know Shane Van Gisbergen, you know that he's always looking for that alternative line, and he sets up his moves. He telegraphs his moves a couple of corners before, and that was smooth and slick executed. Here comes Chase Briscoe on the inside of Alex Bowman. Not quite close enough in turn 1.
It looks like a caution flag on pit road. So many cars. Remember, the leader closes pit road with 2 to go. That is why all of these cars pitted. We do see some playoff cars. Ty Gibbs, we see William Byron, we see Christopher Bell, we see Brad Keselowski. They were running so far back that they don't think staying out would have achieved stage points, which is the goal. I assume Chastain here, because he is the leader, he could pit on this lap. Hard right-hand turn for the 1 car, onto pit road as predicted. This will hand the lead to Truex, who will then stay on the racetrack to score those points. There is Truex. Now Truex's job is to hold off Bowman. And behind him, Briscoe, Suarez, that orange car of Cindric, Chase Elliott, Reddick, Larson.
All playoff drivers.
All playoff drivers. Playoff racing in a road course. This is what has to happen. He looks smooth, 48-14 in tow. Truex going to win the stage.
This is hugely valuable for Martin Truex Jr. At a place where he has won before, he'll take those stage points. So important for him.
Big battle here between the 8 of Kyle Busch and the 11 for the free pass. They'll race till right then, time of yellow. When the 10th place car crosses the start finish, the track goes yellow. Highest scored lap down car gets the free pass.
Van Gisbergen is pushing. Chastain hard on the inside. SVG thinks about diving on the inside and then thinks again. McDowell goes out wide. Check out this bag, man. Here they come.
McDowell's going to swing it all the way wide. He's going to take a run for the lead, but he can't get it done. Chastain gets the burst into the clean air. McDowell right behind him into 34. Shane Van Gisbergen gets punted a bit wide coming through turn 3. Joey Logano breathing down his tailpipes in the 22.
Tyler Reddick was that car that spun in entry to turn number 1. You see him off the pace and losing ground as he tries to gather it in up the S's.
I think it was the 2, the orange car, top center of the screen if you can make it out. I mean, how do you blame anybody? Briscoe into the 2, into the 99, who gets the 45. I mean, it's the game of contact telephone. Here you go, pushing and pushing and pushing. Not everyone's going to make it, and that time it was the 45 of Reddick.
And man, this is a busy pit road.
Spun around, 99 car spun around in turn 6. He is borderline in the gravel. He's stuck. He cannot get out. NASCAR's going to have to throw the caution here.
This has been such a crazy day for playoff drivers.
And this is day over for Chastain and SVG. They try to run one extra lap. Will they get to pit road before the yellow? It's a drag race. The 1 and the 16, they will not make it. Pit road is closed. So much frustration in the camp of the 1 and the 16. That was the one thing that could not happen on their strategy. This yellow will sink them, his own teammate, the playoff car, the 99 in the sand.
By the way, that errant wheel on pit road that Stevie circled before, that belonged to Brad Keselowski's 6 car from RFK. There is the end of stage 2, albeit under a slower pace. Briscoe on the inside. Look at that high point forward. Does he get Van Gisbergen? No, he gets hit. There's contact. They're scrambling everywhere and spreading. Baggy, they're coming your way.
And it is chaos leaving turn 1, heading into the S's. They all try to sort it out. Ross Chastain just trying to get out of Dodge right now. Shane Van Gisbergen in second. They are double wide through the S's for the balance of the field as everybody tries to sort it all out before they get to the backstrap.
Up front, Shane Van Gisbergen is not letting Ross Chastain get away. Michael McDowell, who is on considerably fresher tires, sits 3rd, but he's about 2+ seconds adrift. Let's have a look at this from a few laps ago. Kyle Larson and Brad Keselowski fighting, Steve, over 29th position.
Well, and you see the kind of depth sprint booze as Larson is in the grass, and that's because of that position. I think if they're up inside the top 5, they're a lot more respectful, but they just know they have to get going.
Treble up in turn number 2. Denny Hamlin is around, and he's got contact on the back of his race car. Hamlin comes to grief at the bottom of the S's. He's able to refire the car, but as you can tell by the crowd here in turn 2, they are happy about Denny Hamlin, but I guarantee you he is not.
He has to get in line. 3 cars just don't fit on the entry to the S's, Jeff.
Yeah, Steve, look, this is simple to me. Denny Hamlin in desperation mode. This right here normally is a lift. I can't be 3 wide on the outside. Instead, he piles it in there in the worst position he can possibly be in contact. And this is how the playoffs have been for them. Did not approach Atlanta effectively. Had trouble here early. Qualified not great. And then, in my opinion, just an overreaction and a desperation move by Denny.
Look, there's the fuel remaining with the laps run. Here goes Gizzy, has a look on the inside of Ross Chastain. Mike, get ready for it.
He'll open up the inside lane coming out of 1. Question is, can he seal the deal in 2? Has to pump the brakes just a tad, and that's allowed Michael McDowell to catch him. It's also allowed Chris Buescher to catch him, and Corey LaJoie there as well. A solid 5-driver free-for-all for the lead here at Watkins Glen.
And those tires are wearing out for Ross Chastain and Shane Van Gisbergen, because here comes Chris Buescher. The 17 is flying on much fresher tires.
Shane Van Gisbergen just came on the radio and said the tires are really going now. Everyone wondered how far you could go on these. Everyone in practice only did about 15 laps, and a lot of crew chiefs asked the question, is there a cliff and when these tires fall off? Well, these guys are basically at 40 laps to 1 of the 16.
40 total, 30 green, and for sure you're starting to see them go away. But until they start to lose too much track position as Buescher cleaves Chastain, what a great move.
And Chastain's time at the front has come to an end. Ross has led more laps here today than his entire road course career. Baggy, it's been fun at the front, but there's a new man up there now.
Yeah, it is, and it's Chris Buescher trying to move away, and Shane Van Gisbergen in the 16 car just trying to hang on to his race car.
Now everyone in the field from this point can make it on fuel. So when you come to pit road, really determine, you know, how many guys have pitted. So if the caution comes out, you would lose track position to them. How important do you think Goodyear tires are? Right now, if you pit, you're going to have to run about 31 laps on this final set if you don't want to come back to pit road.
As we see Chris Buescher hit pit lane here, this is maybe a reaction to seeing the 1 and the 16 come down pit road as they're going to be ripping fast lap times on those newer tires. The 34 team actually came on the radio and said we expect those guys to be slower at the end of the run. So this is the idea of putting these newer tires on now and having the faster lap times against the older tires out there.
Christopher Bell right there in the DeWalt number 20 for JGR. Remember, he was caught up in that opening lap chaos where he was turned around. There's contact there with Austin Dillon.
And I don't think Dillon liked it. He's giving the 20 a couple shots right here like, hey, man.
Might have another one here.
Yeah.
Might have another one here. Dillon is making, oh, and he does give him one. Wow.
I think there was something wrong with the 20. He was so
Bell was
slow.
trying to come to pit road, Steve. He was trying to come to pit road that time.
Bell trying to come to pit road. The 3 to his right side, and the 3's not going to lift and let him across. The 20 gets spun out, gets to pit road now. Is trying to pass the 20. He doesn't know or doesn't care, maybe, that the 20's coming to pit road. So as the 20 turns left and slows down, the 3's picking up the gas to leave the corner. He was running 12th with all that happened.
Just forklifted it around. And that's a shame for Christopher Bell because he was running 12th after that comeback from the opening lap incident.
So back to the rundown, you see Buescher in 6th, Hocevar in 7th, SVG in 9th. That's kind of the freshest tire trying to happen as now we have SVG with an aggressive move off the S's, heading in front of Dillon in the bus stop.
And both of these cars, the 77 and 16, good on fuel, so they'd love to get around the 3 of Austin Dillon here through the bus stop. Hocevar does, and he gets away. Austin Dillon, a roadblock for Shane Van Gisbergen right now. SVG gives him a wave, finally gets around him as they enter the carousel.
Teammate and teammate here, one in the playoffs, one not. And the boss man, Brad Keselowski, moves over and lets Chris Buescher through. Joey Logano, Chris Buescher. The man who leads the playoff standings up against the driver who narrowly missed out.
Watching Christopher Buescher open up the inside lane. He's going to dive to the inside of the 22 of Logano.
Heavy damage, man. He had to make some real significant contact.
Heavy rear end damage.
Yeah, he destroyed us. That's it.
He said he destroyed us. Somebody must have gotten the back of Guy's Gralla and sent him off into that final corner. Let's take a look. Oh, looks like that.
Daniel Hemrick?
Yeah.
Shane Van Gisbergen just got by Joey Logano at the entry to the bus stop. He goes to 2nd.
The SVG, he is now clear. Buescher's in front of him. He can see him. There's no cars in between them. Now he sees his target. Now go get it.
Bad luck for your son, but the left rear so far is staying on.
So far it stayed on. Lots of debris coming off of it. I think NASCAR is going to be put in a spot here. Leader coming right behind him. Rubber on the racetrack. Here comes Chris Buescher. Here comes SVG. The main tire is still on the car, though. Will it come off right? There's the caution.
Oh, and what a break for the 2 cars that were on pit road. Keselowski and Logano jump to pit road, assuming there would be a yellow. They get a yellow because of that tire debris. Let's see exactly what happens. Coming down the back straightaway. Oh, the flat tire before the bus stop. Nothing the driver could do. Actually did a nice job keeping the car under control and keeping it straight.
Chris Buescher with an excellent placement of his car, but it opens up that inside line back here to SVG.
SVG had an open lane, but he wasn't close enough to capitalize. Instead, it's Chris Buescher. He'll punch his way through to the lead. Hocevar now second. SVG is third. They're going to stack them up double wide for fourth. A couple of white and blue cars there at the top of your screen. Chastain and Briscoe, and there's trouble further back. William Byron gets launched up onto the retaining wall. Brad Keselowski's involved. Everybody else will find their way through, but William Byron up and in the air with Keselowski pinned underneath.
My goodness. The defending race winner, William Byron, playoff driver, William Byron, playoff driver, Brad Keselowski. The craziness at the Glen continues.
There it is, the orange and blue car side by side with Logano. Oh, Logano kind of gets into the 6 or vice versa, but either way, man, what a hit for the 24.
It was super tight. That is such a funnel through there. It is way tighter than it appears on television. And there was nothing between it. Here's the view from Tyler Reddick. Look up ahead.
Very, very fortunate for the 24. The double height of the Armco there, the extra third layer, not just a normal 2-height Armco, but a triple height Armco. You see all the way at the top of it. That gets very, very scary if he gets above that Armco into the catch fence. Fortunately, not the case. It's so hard to tell, we see the beating and banging. I don't know who's in the appropriate lane. It's so, you said, narrow and S's.
Yeah. It's just a funnel, right? It's just a tunnel. Van Gisbergen gave Buescher a little bit of a bump, and it's hurt him because they open up that gap. He's going to have to go deep on the brakes. He's got Chastain on his outside. Mike Bagley, they're coming to you.
Chris Buescher breaks away with the lead again. Hocevar trying to hang on to second. He'll chop off Shane Van Gisbergen. But here's SVG on the attack. He'll look to the outside for a moment. And there's trouble further back. Tyler Reddick's around. Busch is involved. That's Reddick in the 45 and Busch in the 8. Trying to right their cars. Trouble mid-pack on back as everybody in front of them was able to escape.
We're going to overtime.
It looked like the 38. It starts with the 38 trying to get over for turn 2. He contacts the 9 who gets somebody to his left right there.
Got Elliott.
Yeah, Elliott who gets Barry, and then they stack up. Truex, pretty hard damage into the wall. We'll see if the 19 has to come to the attention of the crew, and Reddick finally gets turned around on the nose of the 8.
Haley was behind Martin Truex. Here's another view. Tyler Reddick. Do we finish it off? Van Gisbergen tries to unsettle Buescher, puts it on the inside, gets on the gas. It's Van Gisbergen and Buescher side by side to you, Mike.
Wheel to wheel for the lead, coming to the S's, and it's SVG. He'll power past Buescher and go to the lead. Buescher now to second. Third now will be Carson Hocevar. Chastain in fourth, but SVG, your new leader in NASCAR overtime.
Top 4 breakaway. Can Chris Buescher get it regathered and try to come back for a charge at Shane Van Gisbergen? He gets into the bus stop well. The top 2 have started to squirt away from the field.
Chris Buescher is hounding down Shane Van Gisbergen, who happens to be mentored by Marcus Ambrose. Marcus will be back in Australia watching this, and it's shades of Keselowski and Ambrose all over again. Buescher gets on the inside of SVG and says, "You pushed me around earlier, I'm going to give it back." Incredible on this final lap. Van Gisbergen's only got one real shot left at it. Maybe 2. Thinks about it into turn 6. Did Buescher save the best to last? Or has Van Gisbergen got a little payback? He gets wide. He loses it almost. He has to gather it up, but he can't do it. Chris Buescher wins at the Glen in the most spectacular style. What did we just see?
I'm so proud of you, man. So proud of you. That was awesome. Great job, guys. Great job.
Hi, I'm Parker Kligerman. For more access like this from Pit Road, be sure to click and subscribe to the Motorsports on NBC YouTube channel.